Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here for another edition of your weekly Smackdown Live reviews. And it was your Smackdown Live here tonight for the date of February 6th, 2018. And we were live here tonight from Kansas City, Missouri. So that's where we were here tonight. Not a good crowd whatsoever. And I mean, it was a decent edition of SmackDown Live. I really can't come on here and complain too much to you. It's the same crap. It's the same crap we see every week. I can't tell you it was a terrible show, but I can't tell you anything we're seeing is overly exciting on SmackDown Live. And they continue with these illogical booking decisions that continue to insult your intelligence. And I mean, how can I tell you that a show like this was good? How can I tell you that a show like this was bad? I mean, it's just meh. I'm not going to be remembering this show. I'm not going to be remembering anything that happened on this show probably 2 days from now, because that's what it was. It was forgettable. We're on the road to WrestleMania, yet nothing's jumping out at me as exciting. That's really much all I got to say about that. There was really not too much to talk about here tonight on SmackDown. Things happened. Don't get me wrong. Things happened. There was a WWE Championship match announced for Fastlane. You had that. Your United States Championship match, which was the best thing, no doubt about it, about this very show here tonight. The women continue to do absolutely nothing on SmackDown Live. If you ask me, the two most interesting parts of SmackDown Live have nothing to do with the WWE Championship. The two most interesting parts of SmackDown Live are the United States Championship picture and the Tag Team Championship picture, because there's actually tag teams and there's depth in the tag team division on SmackDown Live each and every single week. You got the New Day, the Usos, the Bludgeon Brothers, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, Breezango and the Ascension are mixed in there somewhat. There's a mixture of tag teams. There's depth to that division. You also got Rusev Day in there, who are incredibly over. So there's depth to that tag team division. Here tonight, what you were doing with the mid-card, with the United States Championship, you were actually establishing a mid-card. Bobby Roode, your United States Champion, put on an excellent match here tonight. I wouldn't say excellent like it was a 5-star match, but as far as the TV match goes on SmackDown Live, this is probably the best SmackDown Live match we've seen in quite some time between Rusev and Bobby Roode, and that speaks to the abilities of both Rusev and Bobby Roode. Very good matchup here tonight between both guys. And then afterwards you had Randy Orton coming out, and it looks like we're going to be getting a program between Randy Orton and Bobby Roode, possibly going into WrestleMania. And listen, I'm not going to be sitting here complaining about that one. I'm really not. That sounds fantastic. That absolutely does. You have a mid-card division. You do. But where things continue to be stale, where things continue to be stupid, where things continue to insult your intelligence, is in the way SmackDown Live does pretty much everything else. This WWE Championship picture has grown completely stale. AJ Styles is your WWE Champion. How hard is it to evoke excitement in your brand? Really, how hard is it? I mean, we've seen this storyline between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles rinse and repeat week after week. We have, and it's been the same thing, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan with the disagreements, rinse and repeat week after week. So why would you continue with the same old garbage and pretty much give us the exact same scenario that you had going into the Royal Rumble? As a matter of fact, the triple threat that was announced here tonight for Fastlane for the WWE Championship between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles is what should have happened at the Royal Rumble. That would have been a lot better of a match. It would have been a lot more exciting of a matchup, and it would have showcased what all three guys can do, and it actually would have built towards WrestleMania. And that seems to be the problem with most of this for me. Where's WrestleMania in the picture? WrestleMania will be here before the blink of an eye. Yet WWE is putting all their attention towards Fastlane. There's barely any reminder, I should say, that it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. I don't understand why Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles is the background storyline here. Why is Fastlane so close to WrestleMania? I believe once we're done with Fastlane, there's 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left for SmackDown Live to build towards the biggest show of the year. That's absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. You're telling me we're only going to get 3 weeks of build between Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles? Literally all we've seen tonight between those two guys was Shinsuke Nakamura saying, "I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania." And that's it. AJ Styles said nothing of it. Nothing else of that was mentioned. It's like Fastlane is this big unnecessary roadblock before WrestleMania. Why is it there? If you want to have a pay-per-view-esque SmackDown Live, that's alright. That is what you do. There's no need to have an entire pay-per-view that's going to consume build. It's not necessary. It's not. It's not. At least the Elimination Chamber is positioned in February, where you at least still have like 5 or 6 weeks, I don't know how many weeks, to build towards WrestleMania. There's time. But Fastlane, it's right there. It is literally right there. There's no need to have a pay-per-view in March. It's ridiculous. It is. Instead of having these matches on a pay-per-view, have them on SmackDown Live. Spread them out throughout SmackDown Live. Or have a big edition of SmackDown Live where AJ Styles is defending his WWE Championship in a triple threat against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The Usos are defending their tag team titles against Rusev Day, where Charlotte is defending her SmackDown Live Women's Championship against Ruby Riott. That's it. That's all you need to do. There's no need for a whole Fastlane pay-per-view, which comes across as a ridiculous concept, which halts all your storylines going into WrestleMania. And not only does it do that, but it also makes it so what you see at WrestleMania is by default not as fresh. Because most likely, if you're having them 3 weeks before the pay-per-view at Fastlane, that's most likely the same matchup that you're going to see at WrestleMania. It is stupid. It is stupid. What a ridiculous concept to have a pay-per-view in March right before WrestleMania. It is retarded. And that is, for lack of a better term, right there. Another thing that came across as simply absurd right here on SmackDown Live was the top 10. They announced this top 10 list, and I was looking at this top to bottom, this announcement, and I'm saying, what? This makes no sense. And that's exactly how it came across here tonight on SmackDown Live television, where they did announce the 10 people who were on this top 10 list, and it was just absolutely dumb. It was dumb because there was women there were tag teams there were mid-carders there were main eventers there. People who literally had nothing to do with each other. Yeah, Ty Dillinger's number 10 and Charlotte's number 3. Is Ty Dillinger gonna fight Charlotte to see if he can move his way up the rank to number 3? Or some dumb crap like that? No. It's just not compatible. It's not. It's ridiculous. It really, really is. What you should do is have a top 5 people vying for the WWE Championship. Top 5 people vying for the United States Championship. Top 5 people vying for the Women's Championship. Top 5 tag teams vying for the Tag Team Championship. That's what you do. Not this top 10 that's throughout everybody in your division and voted on by the superstars. Why not decided upon by the management? It's really ridiculous. It is. Why not have this be represented through, I don't know, wins and losses? Well, if number 5 beats number 3, well, number 5 is now number 3, and number 3 is moved to number 4, or something like that. Like, why don't you do it in that way? Why do you have to have just this all-inclusive top 10 which really means nothing for anybody. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We will talk further on that, but those are the talking points here tonight on SmackDown Live. Things that interest me and I'm keeping my eye on, and things that I'm really saying, I'm tired of this, I don't want to see this anymore. And that's just what SmackDown Live has been for a long, long time now. Not good. Not good whatsoever. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, before we do get into the official review and results on every single thing that we've seen on SmackDown Live here tonight, I of course want to tell you guys to make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and of course comment what you thought of SmackDown Live here tonight, as well as to leave a like on this very video if you enjoyed what I had to say here about SmackDown Live, and if you were informed by this video as to what happened on this show here tonight, and as to what the reality is on what happened on this show here tonight. What does this mean going forward? Well, after what we've seen tonight, not much. Not much. But, I mean, make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, of course. Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, pay-per-view reviews, Behind the Mic, where we go over all the biggest news each and every single week in the WWE. Behind the Mic episode number 54 was up. We were going over the WrestleMania 34 card, and we were discussing how all of this is going to fit in to WrestleMania 34, what WWE should do going into WrestleMania 34, what they're probably going to do based off of rumors. We're talking about all of that on Behind the Mic episode number 34, and of course so much other news that came out this past week. So make sure to go check that out if you want to be kept up to date on everything going on in the wrestling world. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is your SmackDown Live review, and we're going to go straight into the events that occurred on SmackDown Live here tonight. And the show started off with the bitter continuation of the rivalry between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan.
SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity, and that's what we both signed on for. We signed in, and one of the keys to our success is that each and every week we listen to all of you. All of you. You determine an immense amount of things that happen on SmackDown Live. And when you guys all feel that a superstar deserves an opportunity, it is up to us to take that and give he or she that opportunity.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal was champion for 6 months.
Superstars opportunity after opportunity.
You saw the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. The referee made a mistake. So, I've tried to turn a negative into a positive. And I decided to make a huge main event for tonight, where two of your least favorite superstars would undoubtedly rip each other apart for an opportunity. Honestly, I thought you'd give me a well-deserved pay raise.
Good line.
See, Daniel,
right there.
Gets back into that opportunity. I would love to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm looking forward to them ripping each other's head off. What bothers me is, once again, your decision to reward that. And they get a shot again at the WWE Championship. You are continually giving them opportunity at the WWE Championship, even going back to the Royal Rumble. So, Daniel, it is very, very difficult for me to understand why on earth would you continually give these two individuals an opportunity. The Yep movement is a cheap imitation of the greatest thing that you have created. And I want you to think about this. I do not want you to allow those two to manipulate you anymore. I know you feel for them. I also know that more than anything in this world, you would love to compete in this ring.
And they, of course, tease it. The crowd goes crazy for it. WWE, listen.
But Daniel, what you're doing
Wait. Hold on, Shane. What exactly is it that I'm doing?
You are living vicariously through Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. You know, since the new year started last month,
Here's
I've
AJ
traveled over
Styles.
10,000 miles defending this championship right here. I've been all over the world competing at the highest level because that's what I do. I was put on this planet to be phenomenal. You see, I can deal with the bumps and the bruises and the pain that goes along with it. I can deal with canceled flights. I can deal with the travel that takes me away from my family for days at a time. That's part of the grind. And I was built for the grind. But what I can't deal with is SmackDown Live management obsessing over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I'm not just talking about you, Daniel. I'm talking to you too, Shane. You see, every time you guys make a decision based on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, it affects me. Now, I'm a fighting champion. I don't care who wins the night. I don't care. This is SmackDown Live, the house that AJ Styles built. So do me a favor. Just stay out of the way tonight. You see, I can control my own destiny. I can make my own luck. And I'll walk out of Fastlane right into WrestleMania, the WWE champion.
So that was a very interesting segment. That was a very interesting way to start off SmackDown Live, if you ask me. And, I mean, it was a good segment. It was a good segment, for sure, right there. It definitely built tension between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And for the first time, what this segment really did is that it proposed the idea of, between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, that Daniel Bryan wants to get back in the ring. And that little hint just gives me the spark of hope that maybe that's what WWE's going with. Maybe they will clear Daniel Bryan. But at this point, it seems inevitable that the payoff to this entire storyline is going to be Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's the way I'm looking at it. I do not think that WWE is going to have to clear Daniel Bryan as a singles competitor, especially after the decision made tonight. I really do think that that's as far as they'll go as far as splitting up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go. I can be completely wrong about that. Hopefully I am completely wrong about that, because I do want to see Daniel Bryan step back in the ring. Daniel Bryan is absolutely fantastic. It would be an amazing moment, and I'm sure it would be a very good match between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and it would be very, very good payoff to finally see these two go to blows. But I'm not sure. That's the remaining question. That's what really interests you here. What is going to be the payoff to this? And that is a question that we can't answer, and I don't even think WWE knows the answer to at this point yet. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. But what was not interesting was the situation between Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair. It looks like Charlotte Flair, the direction for the women's division is going to be Charlotte, your women's champion, running through the entirety of the Riot Squad. So, I mean, realistically, the SmackDown women's division is only highlighting Charlotte. It's only highlighting Charlotte. Whatever happened to Becky Lynch? I mean, look at the amount of talent that you have in your SmackDown Live women's division. You have Naomi, Natalya, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Ruby Riott. Those 5 names alone should present a very interesting women's division on SmackDown Live. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan are really nothing to go crazy over. And then you have the interesting possibility of Carmella with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But WWE fails to make this interesting. There's really nothing to look at. Instead of making it interesting and having maybe a Becky Lynch building up some momentum and telling Charlotte, I'm going after your championship, and having Charlotte and Becky Lynch in close competition, and maybe Becky Lynch and Ruby Riott in close competition, you're having the champion chasing the challenger. Why are you doing that? Why not instead have Becky Lynch and Ruby Riott in a feud for the number one contendership? Maybe culminating at a big Smackdown Live to determine who becomes the number one contender for the Women's Championship. Why are you having Charlotte run through the Riott Squad? It's inevitably probably going to be at Fastlane, Ruby Riott versus Charlotte. Is this really the way you need to get there? Charlotte is your champion. She doesn't need to prove anything. At least not as of yet. What you need to do, or what you needed to do, is have Becky Lynch, Naomi, Ruby Riott in there, maybe even throw in Natalya, have them in there all trying to vie for your SmackDown Women's Championship. Create a division. Right now, it's just a cluster. It is. You have a series of tag team matches and 6 women tags. Nobody's gonna get over in those scenarios. It's just impossible. Nobody's interested in the tag team scenarios. What you need to present to us is singles matches. Throw multiple women into the equation. Show us that there is a division there, because right now, there is no division there. Yeah, there are names, there are women, but there's no division there. So what you need to do, or what you needed to do, was establish all these women who want to become your number one contender. Not immediately throw them into a fatal 4-way. Create an interesting dynamic between these women. Have singles matches, eliminating woman by woman, week after week, showing us who's the best out of all these women. Maybe have it culminate with Becky Lynch and Ruby Riott. Maybe you have Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Ruby Riott versus Natalya, or Becky Lynch versus Natalya and Ruby Riott versus Naomi, and whoever wins their matches goes on the next week in a number one contenders matchup for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They're like a little mini tournament aspect right there. But no, you don't do any of that. You just have Charlotte, the champion, chasing down the Riott Squad. What you do after you would have determined Ruby Riott your number one contender, maybe by beating Becky Lynch, what you would have done there is had Charlotte fight the Riott Squad, fight Liv Morgan, and fight Sarah Logan back to back, week after week, to determine them not being able to compete at ringside, or be at ringside in the favor of Ruby Riott at the Fastlane pay-per-view, and you go on from there. That's how you book a women's division and a women's storyline, interestingly, week by week, where there is some progression. Right now, I don't understand what is going on, and I don't care for what is going on. It was Liv Morgan versus Charlotte here tonight. Charlotte's trying to run through the Riott Squad. Ultimately, for what purpose? I don't know. What has the Riott Squad done to make themselves an intimidating force on SmackDown Live? They have been beaten, they have been chasing off, they have been battered week after week. They have no type of momentum. Yet I'm supposed to believe that these 3 women who have nothing to do with each other pose a threat on SmackDown Live. I really don't understand that. I don't. It makes no sense. And this is what I'm talking about when I come on here and tell you that realistically these shows are insulting the intelligence of the viewer. And this is what makes this show so garbage every week. And as the AJ Styles segment plays in the background right there, let me get this off of here. God damn. I was going on a nice rant there, and then SmackDown Live has to ruin it. My lord. Anyways, Liv Morgan versus Charlotte. This was an alright matchup. Realistically, nothing to go crazy over. Nothing at all to go crazy over. But it was Charlotte who won the matchup after the Riott Squad was banned from ringside. She took Liv Morgan back in the ring, hit her with the big boot, and locked in the figure 8, and Liv Morgan was tapping out. Nothing to care about, nothing to watch, no division being built on SmackDown Live. Whatever happened to a Becky Lynch, whatever happened to a Naomi, these women pretty much don't exist. They pretty much do not exist. Back from the break, it was Renee Young who approached Kevin Owens, and she was talking to him about his matchup with Sami Zayn tonight, asking if he could survive tonight's main event, and he said that she's asking the right question, but she's asking the wrong person, because she should be asking Sami Zayn if he could survive tonight's main event. So there you go with that one. Owen says, for once, Renee has a good question, but she's asking the wrong person because it's up to Sami, and if he can handle losing to Kevin Owens. It was the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Enhancement Talents. Once again, these guys have been on SmackDown Live for 3 months at this point. Has it been 3 months or 2 months or whatever the hell it is? Why are they still going against Enhancement Talents? They fought the Hype Bros. They fought the Ascension, I believe. They fought whatever the hell, Breezango already. They've run through a lot of the division. Have them fight a Rusev Day. Have them fight Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Have them fight the Usos, or build towards a matchup, as it seems like they're doing with the Usos to WrestleMania. I don't know what they're doing. I do not know what they are doing here, that the Bludgeon Brothers still have to go against Enhancement Talents. It's ridiculous. Have them cut promos on SmackDown Live. They don't need to be fighting each and every single week. It's getting a little bit repetitive with the enhancement matches. After the match, Rowan and Harper stood tall, but the most interesting part of this, it was just another squash match, but the most interesting part of this is that, just like last week, the Bludgeon Brothers came out when the Usos were finished with their promo, and they kind of like had a little face-to-face interaction. But this week it was the Usos who came out after the Bludgeon Brothers were done with their matchup. And again, they had a little bit of a face-to-face interaction. So this looks to be the matchup that they're going with towards WrestleMania, possibly towards Fastlane. I don't know. We're probably going to see this matchup at Fastlane. There's probably going to be some type of screwy finish, and we're going to see it again at WrestleMania. Back to what I said at the beginning of the video, that most of the matches that we're going to see at WrestleMania are going to be tired and drawn out because we've already seen them once before at Fastlane. So that just comes across as ridiculous. But they faced off for a second at the ramp. The Usos continued walking, and they cut another scathing promo, just like last week on SmackDown Live. This week they have the audio, and here it is.
Alright, so check this out. Last week we came out here to let y'all know what this day one-ish means. This week right now, we out here to let y'all know what being locked down is all about. I ain't talking about getting booked and getting fingerprinted. I ain't talking about orange jumpsuits and cold showers. I ain't talking about sleeping on no slab of concrete for 8 hours straight. Trust me, I know. Now what we talking about is a state of mind. You see, what we do is we turn that mind into a prison. Lockdown, which means we run that prison. Think about this.
We do.
A lot of cats out here starving, Oos. A lot of cats out here acting real hungry.
Hey, I ain't talking about cupcakes or bonbons, Oos.
No, we talking about the hunger for success. Hey, y'all can't eat
Until we say you can't eat.
A lot of cats out here acting thirsty.
Yeah.
They out here reaching, looking real thirsty.
Ain't talking about lemonade, Kool-Aid, or none of that purple stuff.
Nah, Oos, we talking about the thirst to be in that spotlight.
Take a sip of this holy ground.
You can try to.
I split you like the Red Sea.
Ooh-wee. A lot of cats out here sleeping on the Usos. They out here sleeping on the Usos.
Ain't talking about no bedtime stories or bunk beds.
Nah, Us, we talking about 2017 was the come up for the Usos. It was a turnaround for the Usos. I'm talking about we went from face paint
To snapbacks.
we went from rainbow colors.
To white and black.
We went from wrestling tights.
To the all whites.
We went from they might be alright. So yeah, we had match of the night.
Very good line right there. I love it.
Hey, we went from Samoan drops to super kicks to Uso crazy to this day one-ish. Hey, y'all can't sleep until we say you can sleep. You better recognize the next time you feel little hair standing behind your neck and you feel those little goosebumps running through your body and your head is on a swivel because you feel like somebody creeping behind you. No! It's not paranoia. It's the
Another amazing promo from the Usos. These guys, I mean, holy crap. Usually, when you have back-to-back promos week after week, like these guys just did, it usually gets a little bit worse. You get a little bit excited. Nope. They came out here, cut a promo, and they were talking, and I was just completely as invested in what they were saying as what they were saying last week. These guys are just fantastic at everything they do, and you believe everything they're saying because they back it up in the ring. They are the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, and they are booked as such. I love it. I love what they're doing with the Usos. Best tag team in the entirety of the WWE right now. These guys are absolutely fantastic. You gotta get these guys in a program of some level. Probably against Rusev Day going into Fastlane is what I'm proposing you do. I mean, it's probably going to be the best case scenario in that regard to have Rusev Day versus the Usos. I would love to see that. But, I mean, realistically, you have two options for what you can do going into WrestleMania. You can choose the Bludgeon Brothers, who have been on a complete path of destruction on SmackDown Live and have been booked to beat everybody they come across, or you can have Rusev Day, the most over tag team on your SmackDown Live tag team division, probably in the entirety of the WWE, one of the most over acts right now. The Rusev Day calendars, which really realistically have Rusev Day written over every single day, are selling like crazy on WWE.com. Those are your most over men probably in all of WWE right now, besides Daniel Bryan, who's always been the most over guy in the WWE. So I don't know what they're going to do here. They have options. They have options now. As far as what they go with, I would do Rusev Day, because realistically, I would love to see Rusev Day win the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. That would go over huge. But I mean, WWE probably isn't going to do that, because when does WWE ever give the fans what they want? Point is, very good stuff from the Usos. It's going to be very interesting to see who their opponents are going into WrestleMania. They got you invested in what the Usos are doing. They're not even in a program right now. Probably the best thing, or one of the best things on SmackDown Live here tonight. From positivity, we go straight to absurdity. And that's exactly what this top 10 list was right here on SmackDown Live tonight. So it was Daniel Bryan here tonight, backstage, revealing the first SmackDown top 10 list, which Bryan and SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon will use to make decisions and plan matches. Bryan says the list was compiled by the roster and they cannot vote for themselves. He also says Shane and himself had no input. Bryan announces the list like this. 10. The fitting number 10 spot, Ty Dillinger. Why the hell is Ty Dillinger on this list? Oh my god, he's the perfect 10. Does that mean he's supposed to be on this list? We haven't seen this guy on TV in months. In months, what is Ty Dillinger doing on this list? My lord, I don't get that one. I do not get that one whatsoever. Number 9, Randy Orton. Very surprising to see Randy Orton this low on the list. Number 8, Becky Lynch. Again, another one. What has she done on TV? I don't know. Number 7, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Number 6, The New Day. What is The New Day doing this over the Usos? I don't get that one. Number 5, United States Champion Bobby Roode. Number 4, Naomi? Naomi? Are you joking me? What is she doing in that position? Number 3, Shinsuke Nakamura. Makes sense. Royal Rumble winner. Number 2, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Makes sense. Number 1 WWE Champion, AJ Styles. Of course. AJ Styles is probably going to be the number 1 each and every single week on this goddamn list. But my problem with this is, what incentive does this have to make any type of listing? Number 10, Ty Dillinger. Realistically, if you wanted to use this to make storyline, this should have been like a top 20 or some shit. Top 10? Ty Dillinger, how's he going to fight his way through this list? Number 9 is Randy Orton. So, Ty Dillinger and Randy Orton going to fight over the number 9 and number 10 spot every single week? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Is Ty Dillinger going to fight Becky Lynch to get to number 8? Is he going to fight against the Usos to get to number 7? The New Day to get to number 6? How's he going to do that? I don't understand that one. Is Randy Orton going to fight Bobby Roode? Well, that's exactly my point. Randy Orton's number 9. What purpose does he have fighting Bobby Roode, who's number 5? I'd say that Randy Orton's at least got to get to number 7 in order to come close to the United States champion, Bobby Roode. I don't get that one. I mean, realistically, this should be per division. If you want to have it, realistically, you should have Bobby Roode and his United States Championship, and then 4 other top contenders for that championship. So, number 3 would be Randy Orton. Number 2 would be Rusev. Or the number 1 contender would be Rusev. The number 2 would be Randy Orton. The number 3 would be whoever the hell, Jinder Mahal. Number 4 would be Mojo Rawley. Bada boom shakalaka. There you go. And then if you want to have a 5th contender, Baron Corbin or Dolph Ziggler, who is going to fight Baron Corbin next week. My God, I'm so excited. Whatever happened to the storyline build with what he was doing at the Royal Rumble? He relinquished the United States Championship, came out at number 30 in the Royal Rumble, and now you're not even addressing the fact that he did any of that? He's just fighting Baron Corbin next week. Holy crap, this company makes no sense. You fix the top 10. You propose an interesting idea, and you execute it completely wrong. It makes no goddamn sense. My lord. None of these people makes. None. Maybe a Becky Lynch will fight a Naomi to get to where she... I don't even understand it because it's the superstars who pick. So, how is this supposed to mean anything? Because the superstars are picking each other. Why would the other superstars want to give each other opportunity? Who came up with this idea? My lord. Get this straight. Make a proper ranking system. This is garbage. And it makes absolutely no goddamn sense. The announcers talk about the list, and we see the New Day backstage. Big E consoles Xavier Woods for their 6th place ranking. No, because it's so important. United States title match, Bobby Roode versus Rusev. This was a great match. This was really, really top-notch stuff. Aiden English and Rusev. Rusev Day is more over than ever, bro. Crowd, only time they woke up tonight was to chant Rusev Day, bro. These guys are the prime time. They really, really are. Great matchup. Great series of near falls. Aiden English would provide a distraction. Rusev would get a big kick. There was a great moment here at the end of the matchup where Roode was looking for the Tornado DDT. Rusev reversed, flung Roode off of him, hit the super kick, big near fall right there. Rusev tried to lock in the Accolade. Bobby Roode got a roll up. Rusev turned that in to a Okada roll. Tried once more for the Accolade. Roode rolled out of it. Hit the glorious DDT. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Roode retains the United States Championship. As expected, I didn't expect them to give Rusev Day the rub in this matchup. Really didn't make sense in that regard because Rusev Day could be a viable part of your tag team division. But I love the fact that they gave Rusev at least a partial rub in this matchup by putting him in the United States Championship scenario where they didn't exactly, at least yet, fit into stuff in the tag team division. So now they got some momentum. They can fit into something in the tag team division perhaps. And what happened after the matchup was absolutely fantastic as well. Because Bobby Roode celebrating, and who comes out but Randy Orton? That was a big shocker to me. It came out of nowhere, quote unquote. Because realistically, I expected Randy Orton to be out until we get to a program for WrestleMania. Maybe this will be Randy Orton's program going into WrestleMania. Maybe it's going to be Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton. And that idea excites me because that means one of these guys needs to turn heel. Ooh, who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? Hopefully it is Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode works fantastic as a heel. I think this could be a very, very good program between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton if you flesh it out going into WrestleMania. I love it. I love it. You really don't see Randy Orton exert himself into the mid-card to give other guys the rub. This is the perfect way to do it. Have him in a matchup with Bobby Roode. That elevates the United States Championship. It really, really does. Because that makes it so the United States Championship, well, Randy Orton wants it. Randy Orton thinks that title is important. Randy Orton's a 14-time world champion. If Randy Orton thinks that title's important, that title's got to be goddamn important. That's what that does. That is what that does. So Randy Orton came out, RKO'd Bobby Roode, RKO'd Rusev, RKO'd Aiden English, and he posed. So hopefully this means that Randy Orton is going to be going into a program with Bobby Roode where it's hopefully, I mean, either of these guys turning heel would be good for them because they're both stale as all hell. But I mean, hopefully it is Bobby Roode because a heel Bobby Roode is a glorious Bobby Roode. That's all I gotta say about that. We go backstage to Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, who take shots at other Blue Brand tag teams that they have photos on a board similar to the Fashion Files, so it seems like they're going against Breezango, spoiler alert. They're here to bring prestige back to the division, but they can't believe how these clowns are in the division with them. Last week they targeted and took out Breezango. This week they're going after the Ascension. They invite everyone to come watch the carnage. So it's Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Ascension. This matchup really didn't go too long. It went like 4 minutes. And Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable won. Yay. I just like how they're keeping all these tag teams in the limelight. These guys are on television. They might not be in the tag team scenario, but they still have something to do. That, by all means, is a positive thing. Renee Young approaches Sami Zayn for comments on tonight's main event. He says tonight is his chance to step out of Kevin Owens' shadow. He goes on about Owens holding titles while he hasn't. He goes on and says they are best friends, but even as best friends, he knows Owens will stop at nothing to get to WrestleMania. But so will Sami stop at nothing. So he walks off. It's Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and it was a good match. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens always put on very good matches against each other. There's no doubt about that. When these guys are babyface and heel, clearly the best matchup they've had in the WWE came in NXT, came at Battleground when Sami Zayn first debuted. They're clearly not trying to recapture the magic of any of that. But the way they booked this, I would have booked it a completely different way. You had Sami Zayn, or I would have had Sami Zayn win the matchup here against Kevin Owens clean, have him put up a fight against AJ Styles going into Fastlane, try to step out for the first time of Kevin Owens' shadow, finally surpassing Kevin Owens for the first time in his career pretty much, to go on to fight for championship gold, and have ultimately Kevin Owens cost him the WWE Championship against AJ Styles at Fastlane. Why didn't you do that? I have no idea, but the way they're going about this is a triple threat matchup. So here tonight, Sami Zayn started arguing with AJ Styles at ringside because of course AJ Styles was on commentary. So he started arguing with AJ Styles. AJ Styles got fed up, and like an idiot, they had AJ Styles beat the crap out of both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So Daniel Bryan came out and he said, well, you attacked both of them and they did fight valiantly against each other, so I'm going to put them in a matchup in a triple threat, what should have been at the Royal Rumble, but I'm going to put them in a triple threat matchup against you at the Royal Rumble. So it didn't look after this matchup like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were particularly aligned with each other again. It's going to be interesting to see if these guys are buddy-buddy again next week. Clearly, this is going to build more tension between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, because Shane McMahon told Daniel Bryan that he's tired of Daniel Bryan giving these guys opportunity. And once again, this is a matchup where AJ Styles doesn't have the advantage. He doesn't need to be pinned to lose the WWE Championship. So that's a storyline in and of itself right there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about booking this. I'm predicting that this triple threat matchup might either be the official split of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or there's going to be something there where they don't necessarily split from each other and they go into a tag team matchup. They portray it so they can still go into a tag team matchup against Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. What I would prefer is seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the spotlight against each other at WrestleMania, and of course Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. But that is a pipe dream in and of itself, because for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it for your SmackDown Live review for the date of February 6, 2018. Like I said, really not a show that was out of the ordinary from anything we've seen on SmackDown Live. There was some good, there was some bad, but mostly the same mediocre garbage that we see every week. Make sure to like, make sure to tell me what you thought about the show in the comment section below, and of course make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling channel, because for now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you next time, right here on Ringside Wrestling.